It's been another week in racing, it's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael and Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of their shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last stunts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense, so ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the new look Magic Mike Show, episode 325. Mr. Somich.
Huzzah!
Loving this new look, this overlay. The designers, they outdid themselves once again. Looking great here. Blinkers Off is going to have a great one on Thursday when you tune into that. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. We're fancy. Look at this. We fancy. We're upgraded. Look at these graphics. Oh, I'm good. It was a fun weekend. It was nice to kind of get back to horse racing. Good days on both Saturday and Sunday. Cashed a bunch of tickets this weekend. That was fun.
You did.
I'm really pissed yet really ecstatic about how Sunday went, specifically at Aqueduct. Had 5 on top. Had another must use. The pick 6 was all in my top 2 or 3 picks. And I did not play it. It paid $81,000, but I'm happy to report that 2 of the Somobomb subscribers played it. So 3 winning tickets, 2 of them were from Somobomb subscribers. So pretty happy. And one of the people was actually live to the scoop on one of the horses going to the last for $240,000. So pretty crazy day for a couple people there. It was nice to hit the late pick 5. That paid about $2,000, not $81K, but what can you do? So it was a good weekend. It was a fun little horse racing weekend overall. How about you, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. My poor little boy got sick again. It seems like he's sick every other week now, which is just a lot of fun. But I know I feel it's gonna be a recurring theme too for a while here. But I was like 6 blocks away, and I got the call from daycare that he had a temperature, and we had checked him like maybe an hour or 2 before we left, and he was fine. So it was a little bit of a rough weekend. He was pretty sick, but it's okay because it was a nice weekend to kind of relax and detox. And usually it's me that's sick the weekend after Breeders' Cup, so I was happy that I wasn't sick. I just wish it wasn't him. I'm doing better than your St. Louis Blues. I watched the last 5 minutes of the game against Edmonton, thinking for sure I was going to see an overtime game. It was going to be a lot of fun. I did not like how that game ended for you guys. I'm very sorry about that.
We bled points in the last 2, man. We were in Carolina earlier this week, and we gave up a late goal. I think sub 5 minutes, and that 28 seconds left in that Edmonton game, giving up that goal after we were able to tie it up. It's 2 points that might matter toward the end of the season because we should have at least gotten to overtime both those games and end up losing in regulation. So kind of a bummer. I like the heart with the team to kind of come back and get back when you're down 1, but man, it's really frustrating when you then have these just defensive lapses late in the game and just give away points.
Well, you're missing Torrey Krug. I think that was a big thing that I noticed again at the 5 minutes against Edmonton. I was like, you're clearly missing one of your best defensive guys out there to help with the blue line. The Red Wings are doing well, so that's things are going well on that end, at least as a hockey fan.
That's why you wanted to mention the Blues. You just wanted to talk about the Wings, didn't you?
Because we beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-1 the other day. So we did. No, that's like the one time I can try and rub that in your face. No, I understand what's going on. The best thing that I saw. I talked about it being Disney Plus Day last time. Disney Plus Day did not disappoint me. And no, I haven't watched Shang-Chi yet. I haven't had a chance to. But it's on the docket to be as soon as he's at daycare and we actually have free time during the day, we're going to watch Shang-Chi. But Disney Plus Day was really exciting because you get to see a lot of the titles that are coming soon. You get to see footage for She-Hulk or for Moon Knight, things that I'm really excited about in the works. So, for me, that was the best thing. It was just it lived up to my extremely high expectations.
Well, ironically, we're going to double up on the best thing we saw. I'm going to go with the best thing I saw. It's like TV and some movies in general, but like Shang-Chi was incredible. You'll love it when you actually get to see it. And Succession today was absolutely amazing. They are bringing it with Succession season 3. So I'm living in a wonderful TV space right now, being able to watch Succession. I have not dived into the specials on Disney Plus yet, but I like that we're getting the Spider-Man trailer tomorrow, so that'll be nice to see. So I'm excited about that as well. And you just got the random Green Goblin in the exact same pose on every single poster, which has been hilarious. That was trending this morning on Twitter as well. So I'm just in a happy place with my entertainment consumption model right now. I'm loving Disney Plus. Loving some Bluey. So we're into Bluey in this house. If you got a young kid, watch Bluey. It's incredible. And then, I think Succession's absolutely kicking it. They're knocking it out of the park. So I'm happy with the TV and movie collections right now.
You brought up something I almost was going to mention, and because I'm not going, I didn't. But since you brought it up, the Spider-Man trailer is releasing Wednesday is when it's officially going to be released online. Tuesday evening, there is a fan event for, get this, the launch of the damn trailer. Not even the first trailer, the second trailer. They're doing a huge fan event at a movie theater that, I'm not joking, is a block and a half right there. It is our movie theater is hosting this giant fan event. They're expected to be there, presumably, all 3 Spider-Men.
Wait, there's more than one in this movie?
Apparently. I don't know. That's the rumor. I don't know if you've heard. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this? Yeah, but a lot of the big stars are supposed to be there. They've been spotted. Like, Tobey Maguire was spotted with Zendaya, and Andrew Garfield was spotted with Benedict Cumberbatch in Los Angeles yesterday. Like, that's not an accident. They did that on purpose because they're all going to be there. Also, once again, Mike, there is a fan event for the launch of the second trailer of the 3rd Spider-Man movie. This isn't Force Awakens with the first trailer. What? What?
Is this the most hyped comic book movie ever?
This is more than Dark Knight at this point.
I mean, it's more than like Endgame at this point.
Justice League, Snyder Cut, yeah, Endgame, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. It's pretty crazy. I can't believe they're doing that. So yeah, that's cool, man. I'm excited to see it. I don't know if I'm actually going to see the movie in theaters though. I may just wait. I like this Disney Plus thing, man. I downloaded the Black Widow. I enjoyed Shang-Chi here. They got the IMAX thing going now. It's pretty good. Anyway, we are not a entertainment podcast, although Magic, I could probably go all day at this. We're a horse racing podcast, so we're going to jump into the late pick 4 at Aqueduct. I'm kind of stealing the host role here because I've got a little curveball to send Magic's way. I played the late pick 4 at Remington. The first race already went off, so if anyone's in watching and wants to jump in on some late pick 3 action at Remington, I've got 1-8 with 3 with 1-4 in my press ticket, and I've got 1-3-6-8 with 3-4-6 with 1-2-4-8 in my spread ticket. And I'll type those in the chat for anyone who wants to get involved. All right, now you can take it away.
Riders up! Oh boy, I love it. Never gets old with the DGen information. We are going to be looking at the late pick. Do we even say the late pick 4 sequence at Aqueduct on Thursday, November 18th? Because Mike Somich kicked Aqueduct's ass on Sunday, so I texted him yesterday. I said, "Hey, let's celebrate that by staying at the Big A because there's really nothing for us to talk about." But if you are watching live, thanks so much for joining us. Let us know in the chat if you're playing Remington, if you're playing along with Mike or not. Kicking off the late pick 4, we're going to head to race 6 as I pull this up on the screen here. Field of 8 fillies and mares, 4 and up are entered for a $20,000 tag, sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track. Note that Gentle Annie and Foxtail, who are both drawn to the 2 outside posts, they are going to be coupled as 1-1A, so what you see here on the screen isn't correct right now. Foxtail, however, just raced, so she very well may scratch, so we might have a field of 7. Won't affect me, Mike. No morning line, so we're building the tickets a little bit in the dark here, but I tried to work that into it. Where are you going on top?
So I have morning lines, ironically, on my my little DRF printout, so I can help you out with this as we go through. Look, I mean,
Screw you, Echo Base.
I think this race is an absolute shit show. I'm just going to lead with it. I have these 3 on top, but I don't really have a big opinion here, so I slammed the all button. So I'm going to actually let you take it away here and tell me why you like the 9-5 favorite and the 2-1 second choice in this mess.
Oh, God damn it. Of course. I'm on, how? I'm on DRF right now. How do you have it? Mike's special. Maybe I turned the morning line odds off in the setting. Let me go check on that. Listen, I like the 2 Rob Atras horses here, and it's because Rob Atras is killing it at Aqueduct. He's been killing it for 5 years. So far to start the meet, opening weekend, 6 starters, Mike, 2 wins a second, 2 thirds. Overall, in the last 5 years, he's won 24%. In dirt claiming sprints at Aqueduct, he's 23 for 58. That's 40%. He has the 2 morning line top choices in here, so it sounds like I'm a chalk-eating weasel. But we'll start with the 7 Saratoga Beauty, who's with Atras for the 3rd time now. Rosario rode the first time at a $16,000 claimer level, so he rode thinking this horse was probably going to win. Rode through the next 2 barn changes because this horse keeps bouncing around every start. Probably will get claimed out of this race as well. Irad rode 2 back when the horse was with Atras for the last time. Lost to Flat Awesome Jenny at Saratoga. By the way, lost that horse 2 times in a row at Saratoga, gets away from Saratoga, away from that horse. She has 2 wins at Aqueduct, has the tactical speed to sit just off when I think there's going to be a decent amount of speed in here. And unlike last start when she got a lot of trouble, she's got the 7 post. If she gets in trouble from out here, game over.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's start out with the fact that you think there's going to be a decent amount of speed. I agree Foxtail is going to be out. Foxtail just ran. So let's draw a line through Foxtail. That takes out one of the only 2 speed horses. So that was one of my big reasons for hitting the all button here. The other speed horse is the 4-horse Starship Reina, who's 20-1 on the morning line. Deserves to be every bit of that. So I'm not really sure where the pace is going to come from. One of the reasons I didn't just jump out of my skin here for Saratoga Beauty, and Saratoga Beauty is my second pick. I'm just concerned, when you see a horse get claimed through 5 different races and not win any of them, you're like, wait a second, why does this horse keep getting claimed? And yeah, the buyers fit, and there's other things that work well, and but point to a race where this wins here, and then I have an issue with the distance. Are we sure that the 6 doesn't want to go 6 furlongs? I'm sorry, the 7 Saratoga Beauty doesn't want to go 6 furlongs. I mean, when you look at the 6.5 races, struggles. 7th only gone it once. Win a mile. Win a mile all the way back in 2020 in October, and struggled to get to the finish line. So I'm a little concerned that this 7 furlong distance is a little bit too far for Saratoga Beauty. And with all that being said, this would be my second pick in the race, which tells you how little I like this
how
race.
much you like it, yeah.
I don't really have a monster opinion. I had the 3 on top here. The 3-horse Awesome
Indra.
Awesome sure. Indra. I'm going to go with that. Look, this is one of those where I go back to those races. The previous 2 gets claimed out of the Edward Baker barn and then goes over to the Tom Morley barn. Doesn't run very well in either of those 2 starts. Not really sure why. It was a short price in the last one, about $2 against Saratoga Beauty and Onyx Gold, who are both in this race. I'm hoping that the 7 furlongs thing is a good thing for this horse. But again, I can't really make a great case as to why I love this horse. If it returns back to the form that you saw at Belmont and Saratoga in May, July, and August, then yeah, this is probably your winner. But is that return likely? I'm maybe. I mean, I know the races are there to win, but this is to me, this is one of those where it's okay, we're a low-level claimer. We've got a bunch of horses switching barns. We're at a funky distance. There's only one pace horse who's 20-1. This is throw your hands up. I'm going to single a horse later that's a little bit of a price, and we're just going to hit the all button here and get through it.
The only other horse I use, the other Rattress, is the 6 Big Al's Gal, Kendrick Carmouche, riding for the second straight time, romped in an off-turf race last time out, going 7 furlong at Belmont in the slop. This horse was an MTO, so the full intention was for that race to come off the turf. And if you look at this horse's past performances, if you scratch off the turf races, really this horse dating back for almost a full year, you can look back and say that this horse has had a really very competitive for this level effort for being on the dirt. So I like that we're back on the dirt. I like that it's Atris second off the claim, obviously won first off the claim, and he's 29% with that angle, by the way. Carmouche is staying aboard. This horse, I think, has a similar running style to Saratoga Beauty, so say one doesn't fire, the other one's right there to pick it up. And really for me, because I mentioned that Atris stat, and then it backed up by Mike saying, well, they're the 2 shortest prices in the field, I'm going to eat the chalk on this and move on, because I think this is as much of a mess as this is. I think it's such a mess that you just take the former assistant to Robertina Diodoro's 2 horses and you move on.
I don't totally disagree with you. They're but this
it's bad. It's bad, Mike.
I can't come up with an opinion. You're like your 6-horse Big Al's Gal. We're in a 14-second final furlong in that 7 furlong race. That was off the turf race. Just stumble bunnying home and opening up on a just terrible field. So I can poke holes in every one of these horses, and I don't really get excited about any of them. And that's when you just slam that all button, baby.
Well, it is only probably going to be only 7 horses in there, which will shorten things up for you. Price-wise, we move on to the second leg of the late pick 4 at Aqueduct on Thursday, November 18th. Usually, Mike, this is a race they like to stick us with at the end of the sequence, so I cannot wait to see what fresh hell awaits us in the finale here. We got a field of 11 New York-bred males, 3 and up, plus an MTO. They're sprinting 6 furlongs on Aqueduct's outer turf course. 4 of the runners in here are in for that $45,000 optional claiming tag. Where are you going on top?
I'm going to go to the speed here. I just didn't see a ton of speed in a race that you really want to have forwardly placed horses here, especially going in the Aqueduct turf. All weekend last weekend, you had to be forwardly placed, especially in the turf sprints. And to me, that points directly to the 6-horse Freewheeler. So I'm going to go with Freewheeler on the top here. Get a little bit of a price at 8-1. This horse is leaving the Pletcher Farm, but it's going to the there you go. But it's going to the Mike. You're going to be happy about these prices are sad when I announce them. But it's going over to the Mike Maker barn, which I don't think is that bad of a switch, especially when you're talking about turf sprinting. Jose Ortiz has won on this horse before, which I love. Horse has sprinted 6 furlongs twice, was able to get 4 times, has 1 win and 1 second. And specifically, you go 3 back last time at Belmont with Jose Ortiz up 55 non-winners of 1. Was able to get the job done at 3-1. Was able to go to the front and open up. the next race out, I'd be a little more concerned about, but wasn't able to make the lead. And when this horse has been on the lead, he's run his best races. I think this City Zip is going to make the lead and be awfully tough out front at 8-1.
Yeah, I love this horse as well. I think this is, with a 104 time form early pace rating, this is the fastest horse, and he's talented enough that if he gets loose, he's gone. I think in this race, with the way things set up, if he gets out of that gate sharp, and by the way, that 4 furlong work and 47-4 last week tells me he's going to be sharp. He's taking a big class drop, by the way. He was against Open Company at the Gulfstream Championship meet last time we saw him. It's New York breds at Aqueduct in November. I think it's a slightly easier group that he's going to be facing here. So I'm with you on the 6. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, just a wee bit. And that's one thing you actually bring up really well here. You have to think about the horses they're facing at the time they're facing them as well. Like you see some of the Saratoga form, Belmont form, things like that. It's a big time drop in class from those fields. Second pick for me, the other must-use horse was the 4-horse Phantom Smoke. It's a good example of exactly that. I mean, this horse just beat an $80,000 non-winners one allowance, going 6 furlongs over the Belmont turf, and was impressive for Christophe Clement. This may be about an equal field to what he just faced, even though we're going from non-winners of 1 to non-winners of 2. So I think Phantom Smoke has a huge shot here and has improved the last 2 races. And I don't mind that 4-1 price point either.
So I did not. It's 4-1. I was going to ask you about that because I was nervous this horse was going to be bet pretty hard. It actually sounds like, who is the favorite in this race if it's not that horse?
Your favorite is the 5 horse at 7-2.
Okay, didn't use that horse either. I didn't use the 4 Phantom Smoke because I thought, 4-1 second choice. Still decent value. This horse has been favored 3 of his 4 career starts. The biggest price was 5-2 when he was the second choice that day. Coincidentally, it was the only time he ran a poor race, and it was the only time he's been at Aqueduct. I don't like that this is a 3-year-old who's facing what I think is a tougher group of older horses than he's faced in his last 2, but the last 2 races were also at this level against older horses. It was at Belmont and Saratoga, so probably tougher than what he's going to face here at Aqueduct. From that perspective, the 3rd place horse in that race, Neuro, shows up in the 3rd race of this sequence, and I didn't use him. That was a big thing for me as well. I looked at Neuro pretty hard in that race to see if I wanted to use him. I couldn't make a case for it. Therefore, I'm leaving Phantom Smoke out of here. But I do that saying that this is a very big, risky play against for me to go against the 4.
Yeah, I mean, on the Neuro Phantom Smoke thing, I mean, Neuro's going 2 turns, mile and 16th. I don't think he wants any part of that. And that was one of the main reasons why I left that horse off, but was able to use Phantom Smoke here. So that didn't concern me as much. Like, I also respect the hell out of Christophe Clement when he's turf sprinting. I mean, he seems to just bring out absolutely great horses. And then we often talk about Lasix and when a horse adds Lasix. And this horse took a nice step forward in the 3-year-old campaign, adding Lasix, and we're getting that obviously again today. So I think the 4 is pretty dangerous here, and I expect the 4 actually to go off the favorite, not the 5. But we'll see what happens on race day. I'm going to fade the 7, so we're going to chuck the 7 out. We're going to leave the 5 off the ticket as well. I'm going to go to the 8-horse Valmont as my last horse on the ticket here. You're getting 12-1 on this horse, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, to me, this is the other speed horse, and Jalen Samuel has just been absolutely sending. I know he's only 3% on the year, but this is one of those spots where if you give me a turf sprinter with a lack of speed and you have a jockey that's going to send or going to be forwardly placed with him, you're getting a price. And by the way, this horse has also beat quite a few of the horses in this field. They're going to be a shorter price than him. I'm going to take a chance. I want the 2 speed and the 6 and 8, and then I think I'm getting the best horse in the 4.
Yeah, if you scratch out that Meadowlands race last out, which just a very different configuration and course there. The last 2 races at Belmont and Monmouth, Samuel was aboard and the horse went to the lead. It has that 98 time form U.S. pace rating, so you definitely have some speed. I did look at this horse, didn't use, but definitely not one that I'm going to poo-poo you for trying to use here. I went with the other maker as well. So Freewheeler, the 6 horses of Mike Maker, so is the 7 Shiraz. Shiraz is probably nearing the end of the line here, I'll be honest. But look, we're dropping down from higher ranks. Now we're down to this level here for the $45,000 tag. So I'm hoping that might perk him up a little bit. Luis Saez hasn't lost faith. So Saez has been aboard for 13 of his horse's last 19 starts. If Saez is still riding, all right, I'll keep riding with him one last time. Namely, I'm going to look at that effort 3 back at Kentucky Downs. That race, I think, was very strong for this horse for what he could. If he can bring that effort from Kentucky Downs here, it's a big if. I think he can do it. But he's 0 for 6 at Aqueduct, and he's 1 for 18 at the distance. So not good stats there. What's the price I'm getting on him?
You're getting 4-1, co-second choice.
Oh,
and
God.
On a 1 for 16 and 0 for 6 at the distance. Like that was the stats.
4-1 on Shiraz.
4-1. I actually think Shiraz is going to get back. Like I expect the 4 and the 7 to be the favorites.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm scratching the 7 and adding the 5 because if I'm getting the same price basically on those two, I like the 5 a lot. I thought I was getting close to double digits on Shiraz.
No, Shiraz is 4-1, and I expect he'll be just. I mean, look at if Shiraz runs back to a handful of buyers that are all at Saratoga going 5.5, he wins this race. But there's a problem. We're not at Saratoga going 5.5. We're at Aqueduct going 6, and those are both bad things for Shiraz. And so when you kind of factor that in, and then you look at the price, and like you said, I mean, this was wild. 1 for 18 at the distance. 1 for 18. I don't care if you're dropping in class. 1 for 18 is not good. There's no situation where 1 for 18 is good. Maybe there's a couple, but in horse racing, there is no situation where 1 for 18 is good.
Again, he was 12-1, 2 starts back, 10-1 last time out. I thought I was getting somewhere closer to that, so I'm going to run far away from that. My top pick we haven't talked about is all the way outside the 11, Outrageous Bet. And Mike, I got to ask you, with enough bad horses in this race to keep things interesting, how is the best closer in the race an Outrageous Bet? That 107 time form late pace rating jumps off the page. This horse is cutting way back. He's been routing for a considerable amount of time, but has shown the ability when going one turn, a longer one turn. He can kick it into gear if he needs to. Has 4 wins at this distance, so 4 of his 7 career wins going this far. I love that Irad Ortiz Jr. is picking the mount back up. This is not a barn that he normally rides for, or his brother. Irad is 0 for 7 for Patrick Reynolds. Why is Irad riding this horse? He could be on one of the... If Shiraz was worth a damn freewheeler, he'd be on a maker horse. No, he's on this horse. He's going to have the full length of that stretch to try and get up there in time. I think being on the outer turf course helps him because he's going to get the wider turns, the more time to corner than if he's on the inner turf course. So I think he's great, especially if there's stumble bunny and there's a lot of bad horses in here. Watch this horse come flying late. Yeah,
I mean, look, I first off hate this horse with a fiery passion because he cost me about $30,000 at Belmont when he beat Mandate by a neck. And Mandate, there was like 26-1 that day. And Mandate, by the way, came back and won it like 90-1 or something ridiculous this past weekend, helping Ed hit a $50,000 pick 5. Like that was one of his crazy horses.
That was one of those horses. Okay.
Yeah, Mandate was like one of the 90-1 shots or something. Paid $90, I think it was 45-1. So yeah, I hate Outrageous Bet with a fiery passion. So we'll start with that. After that, look, the one turn has been pretty good for him. I mean, that Belmont mile and 16th is kind of one turn. Both of those Belmont miles are kind of one turn races. So they're a little sprintish. My biggest issue is, like I said, you got to be forwardly placed at Aqueduct right now. And Outrageous Bet is 5 lengths off a 48-second half mile in his last few races. So this is going to be a completely different game. Irad's going to have to put him into it. Now, like you said, he has shown success turf sprinting, but that was a long time ago. You only see 2 on the page from the DRF perspective. Both times he was running and he ran third. Like he was coming.
He's coming.
Couldn't get there. So this is one of those where I can't put this horse on the ticket, not because I hate him with a fiery passion, but because I think he's just going to be too far back early to get the job done late.
That is fair. I had ended up using, so I'll touch on it real quick. We move on. The 5 Dancing Buck, who is apparently the favorite right now, but probably won't be. I think this horse is late in his 3-year-old season, is really kind of coming into his form. The buyers have improved each time. Kendrick Carmouche has been aboard both times, and the horse has tactical speed. So if what Mike is saying about you need to be close at Aqueduct to succeed, this horse can be close. He can sit off a little bit if he needs to as well and still be successful. So he's versatile in that sense. He's got a first and second from 2 tries at Aqueduct. We'll see if we can get the job done for Michelle Nevin, and we can move on to the third leg here. The late pick 4 Thursday at Aqueduct, race 8 on the card, a mile and a 16th outer turf route for New York bred boys, 3 and up, non-winners of 1 other than field of 12 plus 4 main track only entries in here. Mike, who's your top pick?
We're going to single up here. I'm going to single up the 5 Barrage in this spot. Yeah, look, I like this horse, and I love the fact that, we see a Gulfstream Open 16 maiden to start the career. What? Like, now we're here? But then you come back and you go right into a restricted stakes, which is a crazy jump up in class.
As a maiden.
Horse runs really well behind Ocala Dream and Step Dancer, who both proved to be 2 of the better 3-year-old turf horses in those New York Series races. Comes back and runs back in 150K stakes again, runs into Step Dancer again. Both times has a rough trip, specifically that Saratoga trip, where you could not be 3 wide on that turf course around both turns and have any prayer of a chance to win. That's what he did at that day. So I'm not really that worried about that specific trip. Comes back, runs against 85K maiden special weights, able to get the job done, and again was in the 2 or 3 path around that turf course, which you couldn't win in the 2 or 3 path. So it's pretty much one of the few horses that was able to get the job done. So that race is actually better than what it looks on paper. Comes back. The next race, you just draw a line right through it, right? Muddy. So we rained off the turf. Not too worried about that one. Still runs pretty well and runs into Water's Edge, who, by the way, will be a heavy favorite if this thing rains off the turf. Now we're getting back to the turf. We're at a level that I think we fit at pretty well here. I like the post, and I like the pace setup in this race. There's just not that many pace horses. I think you could see that dawdling New York pace here. And Barrage could end up just sitting the perfect trip. His biggest competition here in my mind is Grape Nuts Warrior, the 8 horse, who's going to be coming from way off it. So I think we get the jump with Barrage, and hopefully we're able to hold off the deep closers.
It's pretty easy. Well, you nailed my top pick very perfectly. I have nothing else to say about Barrage.
9-2, by the way, Magic.
9-2. Why am I not seeing? Like, what's Grape Nuts Warrior's price? The 8 horse.
7-2. Your morning line favorite. Come on, Chad Brown.
God.
Irad Ortiz.
Yeah. See, here's the problem. This horse loves to leave himself with too much to do, and if we're at a track where you need to be close to the pace, this horse has got no effing shot in hell. Last out, averaged under 11.5 seconds per furlong in the final 5/16. You scratch off the 2 races at Saratoga, 4 back at Belmont, same exact thing, sub 11.5 per furlong for the final 5/16. Problem is, he's way too slow early. He's going like 25 and change, 26 and change. I'm like, you can't do that and try and succeed against these horses. And if there's a lone pace set up here with Barrage, if he does get that easy lead, if the 9, for example, doesn't press him, I know we're getting an upgrade to Irad from Javier Castellano here, but I think this horse is fighting for third at that point.
It's simply a pace problem. And like, I agree with you, there's an upgrade there. But how often do you see Chad Brown's horses try the same level 5 times? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you rarely see that, especially when they're able to break their maiden first time out. So he doesn't send it to a stakes race, which immediately tells you he doesn't think that highly of this horse.
Not even a New York bred stakes race, yeah.
A lot of times these 3-year-olds, you see that maiden win right into a New York bred stakes race or right into a stakes race. You don't see that. He struggled at this level. Like, I'm not ready to take the horse. And you know what? He's going off as a favorite. I think 7-2 is generous on what you're actually getting on race day. I think you're going to end up with 5-2 or 2-1. And I'm like, I get it. He's got the best numbers. It's Chad Brown. It's Irad. All the connections are going to get bet. But to me, this is just a great spot to try and take a stand against and separate yourself. And it allows me to go all in that first leg, which I hate, and play that 9-2 shot here.
I'm going to use, but very defensively. You can tell by how I sound. A big reason is, as Irad getting aboard, he's 39% for Chad at Aqueduct over the last 2 years. I mentioned it was a jockey upgrade, which leads me perfectly into the other horse that I'm using, which is the 11 tackle ridden by Javier Castellano, former jockey of Grape Nuts Warrior. This is mostly a play because it's Maker. I think this horse has got a great shot in here. I think the fact that we're going a mile and a 16th on this turf course means you've got that whole front stretch for Castellano to not get stuck 6 wide. He may still figure out a way to do it going to that first turn, but he at least has the chance here. This is another horse that I think has pretty good closing kick. He's coming out of a sprint race, which I think is going to sharpen him up a little bit. I think he will be a little bit closer to the pace than, say, Grape Nuts Warrior. If you look at the race 2 back when he broke his maiden, granted in for a 40K tag, but that's the kind of race that he needs to take here. He also had that race at Aqueduct last November. So if he can bring that sort of an effort here to him, I think that he's got a chance. Castellano's 2 for 38 riding for Maker, and I was about to leave him off, and then I looked at the rest of the jockeys that are available. Who else is available to ride? Irad's riding for Chad. Maker's other guys are they're in Kentucky. Size has got the 5 who we love. Who else was going to ride? So I don't see it really as a bad problem, the Castellanos here. It just doesn't make me go, wee, too much.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had Ortiz on the 4, but Lord Flintshire is a competitor, so I'm not going to knock that one either. And Dennis brings up a really interesting horse, which almost made my ticket. This was actually my 3rd pick here, the 12 horse Battle Scars. And I don't know if, Dennis, maybe you can explain this to me, what actually happened. When you look at the form, it's really interesting what this horse did. So wins first time out, going 5 furlongs over Arlington Park's track, goes back at a mile in an optional 75 and is in for the tag. Gets claimed away from Team Block, right? So Chris Block, the trainer.
Yeah, what the hell?
And then runs in the Derby and then switches trainers off of Chris Block. So there was a private purchase after the 75K claim to go back to the Block barn after, or probably before running in that stakes race. So I'm guessing he got claimed and then they bought him back for more money and then put him in the stakes and now running him here in New York. He is a New York bred. I don't necessarily know if this is a drop in class. I think that's the one issue because of where he was to where we are here. But
right.
The funkiness, there's just a stank to this horse that you got to wonder how good this horse is. And it's a really unique just line, right? When you go through it with how this horse has progressed from barn to barn, but really just stayed in one, even though it was claimed and then bought back. So to me, the 12 horse was the other really interesting horse here. I'm glad Dennis brought it up because I do think Battle Scars has a big shot here. And I would use the 12 over the 8 if I was going to use the second horse here.
That does make things interesting. Yeah, James Golick. I'm looking it up. Trainer James Golick claimed the horse for $75K, and then he just runs back there. I looked at that before and thought it was an error with DRF. Because actually, I thought it was with Equibase, so I was just going to blame Equibase for that. But that is interesting.
Yeah, they bred it, won with it, got claimed away from them, bought it back, ran it to stakes,
and went straight to a stakes.
Sent it to Weaver to run there. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that it got bought away, then they bought it right back and just. So it's just very, very interesting running line there, or ownership line there, that makes you wonder how good the horse is. Because when you see all of that, he thought he was going to get past that 75K claim.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, they're trying to get cute.
So, and clearly wants the horse. So, it's just a very interesting setup there.
Well, and with Manny Franco aboard, if this was the finale with Manny Franco aboard, I probably would have made my tickle. But he's not, so we'll move on. The fourth and final leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Aqueduct on Thursday is, in fact, race 9, which gives us, hey, look at this, Mike, a fun field of 12 New York-bred maiden 2-year-old colts and geldings, plus an also eligible sprinting 7 furlongs on the dirt, well in for a $40,000 tag. If this was on turf, that's the only way it would be more New Yorky for us to finish this off here. To me, this was the most difficult race to figure out, because it's a bunch of 2-year-olds that are in for a $40K tag, and my top 2 picks are first-time starters. That's how much I like this field. What about you?
Well, I kind of separated this out into 3 groups. All right. I'm going 5 deep here, and I don't have a huge opinion. So we're going to start with what Mike always starts with in this race. Who's the fastest horse? The 6. Working Man's Dude, right? So we're going to start with Working Man's Dude, who should be able to make the lead. I just don't see a ton of pace in here. And Working Man's Dude has a 115 early time form rating, was on the lead going 22-3, 22-4. That should be good enough to get it done here. People might point to like the 3 horse, but the 3 horse wasn't really on the lead in those spots. You've seen some speed from like the 9 against better, so maybe, but the time form number is pretty bad there. So I think the 6 makes the lead. I like the fact that Loscano stays aboard. This horse has also never run over fast dirt, so outworks are usually pretty good over fast dirt. So I'm going to draw a line through both of those races. Say I have a speed horse. Hopefully we can hold. So that's why I'm going to start out with a 6. I know your top 2 are the first time starters, so I'm not going to talk about those 2 because I think we're using the same 2. And then the second thing I look for in these races are the droppers, right? And you've got 2 horses that kind of fit that bill. The 5 horse, Bow in the Back, is dropping after 4 maiden special weight efforts. You got Jutro going from maiden special weight to maiden claiming, 33% on this angle. It's the biggest drop in horse racing. Like I mentioned, the horse had shown speed against better, so hopefully now against worse, he's able to show speed and kind of hold that better. And then the 9 Juggler, who also makes sense here, 4 times against maiden special weight. The 3 dirt efforts, probably all close to good enough to get it done. We're also doing the ultimate equipment change and doing the snip here. Horse sold for $115,000, which is way more than most of them in this race. Yeah. I'm gonna start with the speed in the 6 and the 2 droppers in the 5 and the 9.
I did not use the 5. Probably would be the next one that I added if I did, because it was a class dropper. You made great points for it. You hit everything with the 9, and I'll go with my top picks here. I'm going to start with the 4, Sensible Conclusion for Ray Handel. He's 23% at Aqueduct and dirt sprint claiming races over the past 5 years. I think he and Atris are both going to have big meets. Atris is already off to a good start. Handel, too. 2 wins from his first 10 starters, 4 for 10 on the board. He's 5 for his past 17 with debut runners in dirt sprint races. Handel's getting kind of sneaky at that. So you see 14% first-time starter, but if you really look and narrow it down, it gets a lot better. Why is Luis Saez riding this horse? He never rides for this barn, Mike. He's 1 for 7 in the last 2 years. And if you look at his last 2 works, you're like, well, he's 4 furlongs and 50-2 and 4 furlongs and 50. That's not screaming speed. Why is Saez here? Look 3 back, 48-1 from the gate. Out of all of these really bad 2-year-olds, that is very impressive. And I think that race is the tip-off, that 4 Sensible Conclusions going to be quick early. Saez is going to be the right jockey for this horse. That's why I'm using 4 Sensible Conclusion. Did I miss anything for you?
Well, if you want to go like full Indiana Jones and really dig into it, the workout 7 back, 4 furlongs, 47, 2 of. I love 2 of workouts. When they're 2 of 68 or 2 of 110 or 2 of 57, because everyone's like, oh, bullets, because they get the little bullet on the page and actually reading the freaking numbers. The 2 of workouts, those are sneaky. Those ones are the ones you got to dig for, and that's another workout there that I really like from the 4. I think you got sneaky speed here, and I think the fact that you're getting Saez means you're also sending that sneaky speed, which I think is good. So I expect the 4 to be forwardly placed, and I think is a decent value here, sitting on the morning line at 6-1 Magic.
Ooh, boy, there's a couple of really tasty size horses on top for me at prices. This feel like a fun day Thursday at Aqueduct. My next choice here, you know what? I'll save that one because I want to touch on the other ones that we agreed on here, which is actually the last one. 10 Kong Loves a Fight. For me, this is a big deal about it being Irad Ortiz Jr. Deciding to ride in the finale for Orlando Nota. They're 37% together. This horse, that debut wasn't bet 14-1. Didn't run a lick. Now we add the blinkers. There's not a considerable class drop. They didn't geld the horse after one start. We're going to see what happens here. 40K is no problem. They bought the horse for 14, but Irad getting aboard, that was the big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, right? I mean, the rider switch from Dylan Davis to Irad is like, wait a second, what? And the second start, you got to think the horse is going to improve. Add blinkers was probably a pretty good sign too. So enough changes here, specifically the jockey upgrade, that makes you awfully interested, especially when the horse is sitting on the morning line at 10-1.
Hey now, Irad at 10-1.
Aaron, by the way, I gave you a thumbs up, which apparently you weren't watching. You're busy texting because I can see you down there just punching your phone away. And also, if you were there for the full show, you would know we talked about my pick 4 in the Open where we used him, and also how we have the 3 going with that pick 3. So you got to be on time here, Aaron. We start sharply at like 5:35 ish.
It was 5:38 today. There is his pick 3 ticket, by the way, or pick 4.
That's the
pick 5.
Pick 3. That's the.
Oh, I misread it there. Okay, yeah, it's 2 pick 3 tickets. That's why I said that. Yeah. But anyways, Aaron was, if you're curious, Aaron was talking about Ruggs RUGGS in the 5th race, debuting at Remington. He was impressed. Aaron's the only one who saw it.
He looked very good. He was on the inside speed. He faced 2 outside pressure horses, including a 5-2 Asmussen, and then was able to hold off the rally of the second time starter, the 1 horse, and be able to do it pretty impressively. So yes, it was a very good performance, and I was watching, Aaron.
The last horse I use is actually, speaking of Aaron, is a horse that Aaron was like, do not leave this horse off your ticket. That's the debuting number 7, Cool Giant. Trainer Graham Motion, jockey Jose Ortiz. They're 19% together with maidens, 54% in the money with maidens. They don't ride together that often, but when they do, they're pretty successful. Motion is only 1 for 11 debuting MCLs at the maiden claiming ranks. He's only 8% with first-time starters, but overall, in the maiden claiming ranks, Mike, he's 25%. So even if this horse maybe doesn't falter here, definitely you want to stable this horse up. I was really expecting double digits, like 10, 12-1 on him. What am I getting?
8-1 morning line.
God damn it.
Yeah, and this
is why I don't play this game.
This is one of those where, well, this race is a mess, man. The morning line favorite is the 5 horse at 9-2. The 4 and the 6 are both 6-1. I'm sorry, Juggler is a favorite at the 9 horse at 7-2. And then the 5 at 9-2, and then the 4 and 6 at 6-1. So really, like anywhere you go here, you're going to get a decent price. And this is a spread leg. A lot of people are going to be spreading here. Not many people are going to really have a big time opinion. I think if you do, it's going to end up being one of the droppers, the 5 or the 9 that ends up getting hammered in this spot. But yeah, I mean, look, the 7 to me is a less interesting speed. I look at this and I see Motion, who doesn't generally fire that well at Aqueduct. I see him in maiden claimer debuts, not generally that good. It's just one of those horses where I think you probably need a start here, and this definitely is not the 18 for Motion. So I'm gonna let this horse beat me if this one gets home.
It's called Aqueduct Adequate for a reason, Mike.
Why is that?
That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to talk about Thursday's late pick 4 sequence at Aqueduct. It was a lot of fun to go through this. I haven't talked Aqueduct in probably almost 2 years, so it was a lot of fun to do this. Good luck if you are playing, and if you are watching us live or the replay, thanks for joining us. Look below. We've got our tickets right there. Mike has 2, so I'll go ahead and start with mine and get out of the way. I'll go 6-7 with 5-6-11 with 5-8-11 with 4-6 7-9 10. That is $45. Sorry, my eyes are still bad, Mike. You have 1 ticket. Please go.
I just have 1 ticket. Yeah, so I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to start out with the all button because that race is an absolute mess. Then we're going to go 4-6-8 with 5 with 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. That'll cost you $52.50 for 50 cents. And hopefully we can get a nice little price home there in the first leg, and then get that 92 single home and get this to return something.
So something I was going to ask you before, and I'm kind of glad I saved it till now. For your ticket, because you went all to start the pick 4, do you feel confident enough about the final 3 legs that if you wanted to play maybe a pressed pick 3, is that something you'd entertain doing at all?
If I
do you feel that way about this specific? I should say.
No, I wouldn't press the pick 3 late because I don't like the last race. I could, if you wanted to press the middle double, I could see that and go 6 with 5, and that double will pay. I mean, that's an 8-1 morning line or 6-1 morning line. I know 8-1 over 9-2, and I think that's your logical speed horse 6 furlongs at Aqueduct Turf. I like that 6 horse. And then you come right back and you play the 5 horse who you're getting 9-2 on. You might get $40 to $50 for that double. So if you are like me and you're kind of like, well, I don't love the first leg, don't love the last leg, I'm not going to press the pick 4 or the pick 3, but you do have that opportunity in those middle 2 legs to press the double. You can even go 4-6 with 5 if you want to have a little more coverage in that first leg of that double starting in race 7.
And I'm with Mike. I really do love that 5 horse in the 3rd leg there. So we'll see what the tax man Danigar can do with Luis Saez. Mike, do you have any other horse racing thoughts before we transition to a little bit of Monday Night Football?
No, not really. Just loving horse racing right now, man. It's been fun. I've enjoyed since I took 3 days off, and that was all you needed after Breeders' Cup. Took my 3 days, and now I am good to go. Had a good weekend, cash tickets every single day. Won some tournaments today. Feeling good, man. Excited about this. I played Parks today. Who plays Parks? Come on.
Mike the Degenerate, the tournament guy, does. Over at racenews.com/sports, free pick for tonight's Monday Night Football game, LA Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. Mike, before talking about that, let us know, how did you do betting-wise generally over the weekend? Were you like me and had the Washington football team to win outright? And then what do you think about the Monday Night Football game?
I didn't. It was a pretty good betting weekend.
You like that little pat on the back I gave myself? Okay.
Yeah, you had $5 on it. Good job, Magic.
10, thank you.
No, it was a pretty good betting weekend. The 6-pack went 3-3 because that's what it does. But don't worry, the honorable mentions kept kicking ass and went 4-1.
Of course they did,
including 2 anytime touchdown scores. So that was kind of nice. So we got that went home at 4-1, 3-3 there. Went 4-1 in the contest, which was good. And my big bets won, which is always nice. It's nice when your bigger bets win and your smaller bets lose. So pretty happy about that. Didn't play any college, was completely focused on the NFL this weekend. And, tonight's game's interesting. I had over Kansas City. I felt like that was a get-right game for their team total offensively. I don't love this Rams-Niners game. I'm a big look-ahead lines guy, summer lines guy. The Rams were a 3.5 point dogs in this game. Look ahead early. They were down to half-point dogs early in the season. Went all the way up to Rams -4.5 at one point. Right now, you're sitting at Rams -3.5, and 90% of the money is on the Rams. That's really scary to me from a side perspective. I do think the Rams team total is something you can look at. San Francisco put one of their starting safeties on IR this afternoon, so they called up a safety from the practice squad. That's not good for this Rams defense or offense. Right. I think the Rams are going to sling it all over the field. I like the Van Jefferson props because Odell, you're going to see him integrate into the offense, but Van Jefferson is much more used to Stafford, used to this offense. Stafford's more used to him, so I would expect Odell to get better later in the season, whereas you see Van kind of step right in now. So I like the Van Jefferson over yards props and like the Rams team total over. I think the Rams are going to win, but I'm scared to lay the 3.5.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about how I had 2 teams play each other and somehow didn't get a win out of it yesterday. We're not going to talk about that. You know who will talk about that? Dudes Who Bet Sports. Aaron and Papa Dude will be live in 40 minutes talking about everything. And you know what? Honestly, Lions-Steelers tying, not even going to be a goddamn blip on their radar. That OU losing for the first time after looking like they might go to the playoffs this year is going to be the headlining thing. Hell, it might be the only thing they talk about. Guaranteed to have some fireworks, so tune into that one. I can't wait for it. I've been waiting all day for it. I'm sorry that they lost for Aaron and Papa Dude, but I'm also excited because it's going to be entertaining.
So first off, you shouldn't be sorry they lost. Because this is much less painless. There's much less pain to be endured by losing now than losing by 56 in the first round of the playoffs. Okay, let's just be honest. This team was worse than the other Oklahoma teams that got absolutely blown out in the playoff. So I think this is kind of a blessing in disguise because now you don't even have to get your hopes up or worry about do you get in or not. And then if you do,
Aaron's just nodding his head in the background.
Yep. By 50 points too, right? Because it's not a great Oklahoma team. Sorry, Aaron. It is what it is. So I'm hoping they spend more time talking about how bad Baker Mayfield is and how Mike was right and Aaron was wrong. So hopefully that will come up as well because he's not very good. And I had the Browns plus 2.5. That might have been the most pathetic effort I've seen from any football team. And while I'm at it, people are all over Mahomes right now. That was not a good game last night from Patrick Mahomes. That he overthrew 3 touchdowns. One of the touchdown passes that everyone's like, oh, it's incredible. They had to fake a punt, and then he should have been picked off, and then he threw one up to a running back who made a play on a cornerback. Not exactly a great sequence from Patrick Mahomes there. That was not as good of a performance as everyone is saying. There's a lot of short catch and runs from the tight ends. He missed open receivers. I'm still a little concerned that he's part of the problem here. Although we did mention you could get plus 175 on the Chiefs to win the division last week. That's gone. They're now leading the division. UTSA versus Oklahoma in a bowl. That would be pretty great, Dennis. Yeah, I don't think
Aaron says it was the old going against anyone. Anyways, the point is, tune in to Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love those guys. I can't wait till Papa Do. Let's see. He talked about potato chips 2 weeks ago, sweet potato chips last week. Can we get him to talk about tortilla chips? Tune in to find out to that one. Any final thoughts, Mike, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'd like this 4 to get up at Remington, and he's cruising on the outside, but the 10 looks kind of tough. So that's my final thought. Well, I mean, how much time do we have left in the race? You want to finish it on there? See if we... We've got about a furlong. The 4 is now taking the lead at the 8th pole, and he's opening up on the 10. The 3 horse, who's your favorite, is trying to make a run through. The 11's making a run on the outside, and now the 4 just hit a freaking wall. His tongue is wagging left, right, and center, and he just stopped. And I got rallied on by the 10.
It was more fun watching Aaron in the background.
The 6, get up, buddy. Oh, come on. There's the price that didn't get home.
You acted like the race was over, and then 5 seconds later, oh, come on, 6. I'm like, for what, 4th?
Well, then the 10 hit the wall, too, and the 20-1 shot that we had in the pick 4 and the pick 3 ran up, but it was too late.
So you're saying that Monday night at Remington, not exactly the re-breaking at the top of the stretch crew?
Well, the 10 did re-break. I mean, he re-broke well, but he kind of re-broke into a wall, and they all just stopped together. And they were waiting for someone to catch them, and the 3 did not. 3 got a terrible trip. Dennis is right. Bad trip for the 3. And the 6 was rolling around the outside and ended up about a length short. But, I mean, the 6 probably ran home in 15 seconds, something like that, final furlong. It was not impressive.
Last thought, Detroit Red Wings at Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, they will win tonight. Joe Valeno, the future star, got called up from Grand Rapids because one of our guys got hurt. So look out for that one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this episode of the Magic Mike Show. We'll be back on Thursday to be determined where we go. We'll see how we do at Aqueduct. If Mike stays red hot at Aqueduct, we're staying at damn Aqueduct. So we'll keep that going. But follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter to find that out. I am at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb 18, number 1, number 8, Corporate Overlords at Racing_Dudes. Do not forget, in 36 minutes, Dudes Who Bet Sports will be here. You can get the podcast if you missed it, but really you should watch the YouTube stream, whether it's live or on the replay. Give us a like, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you on Thursday. Until then, I am Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck this week.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.